today was my first day back in uni after like a 5-week break. It's felt quite a long time since I've been back in uni, and I think all of our class kind of agreed that we kind of lost our way a little bit. In the 4 weeks previously we'd been doing community scoping experience, which is where we have to look at services available in the local area for a made-up character in a case study. So our case study was focusing on Tom, who's obviously a fictional character and he's 16 years of age. He's got problems with his mental health, and his mum's not around, she lives in America, and his dad's also suffering from mental health himself and has just been recently diagnosed by a mental health community nurse as being depressed. He's fallen in with the wrong set of friends. He doesn't really have sort of any sort of ambitions for the future, but he's in a stage of transition from school, kind of like in the middle part, just before adult services, which is a bit of a tricky area, especially for people with learning disabilities. He's also taken up smoking and drinking, and his diet's not that good as well. And then finally, he has quite an anxiety build-up of going into hospital, but however he requires surgery for a large cyst which is under his left eye. And this is all linked into our Nursing Society module, which is where we have to write 2 care plans for Tom and then write a rationale about why we chose the interventions that we did. But I think today, like, getting back together as a group, we've kind of talked about what we thought about CSE and what we found out. I think personally it's really helped me, like, find out more services or not, services that are available for somebody like Tom, who also has a mild learning disability, and it's kind of made me realise that there aren't a lot of services out there for people with learning disabilities who are still classed as a child. These child services are often grouped into just paediatric services for, say, normal children, and it can be quite hard for these services to kind of create resources specifically designed for people with learning disabilities. I thought I knew what sort of services I was going to access because I decided to focus on South Birmingham, which is the area that I live and I'm most familiar with placements and taking service users there. However, I found out that the services that I was accessing with real life service users were in fact only for adults with learning disabilities. So a lot of the services that I originally thought, oh, they'll be good for Tom, turned out to not be too good because they don't actually cater for his age group. And there doesn't seem to be, as I said, a lot out there for children. A lot of stuff as well is kind of around the North Birmingham area, which kind of makes more sense. So like things for children and young people are in like Handsworth and Nechells, because they're obviously the more deprived areas of Birmingham. I guess there's a need for them, but in South Birmingham there doesn't seem to be that much, which is a bit of a letdown really. A lot of the services, as I said before, in South Birmingham are just adult based, and I know that there's often with people with learning disabilities often a case of that once people leave school or just leave the full-time education, that they can be lost in the system. That if you've maybe got a person that's got a mild learning disability who may be able to do a lot of things themselves but may just require help once a week, they might not be getting that help because they've been lost in the system from not having a proper transition stage from school into adult services. And it's made me realise that adult services and child services kind of have different beliefs and values. So like a lot of child services focus on the family as a whole, whereas kind of like adult services kind of just focus on the person and don't try and look at the other outer circle. So I definitely think that's something that's room for improvement. And I'm quite proud of myself for the fact that, you know, I have done quite a bit of work and quite a bit of research into something that has turned out to be something quite of value and an interest to me. A lot of people in my class I found today that hadn't actually really done the work, and in a way I can understand why, because people don't fully quite understand, you know, I don't think it was fully explained enough to us about what we had to do. I just tried to use my own initiative, whereas some people need a little bit more of an input. And also having 4 weeks to do it, personally and the rest of the group as well, we felt like that was a little bit too long. and being away from university for such a long time has kind of thrown us a little bit, because we'd only just come back and then we're off again, and then we've got like maybe a few weeks at university and then we're off again for Christmas. So at the moment it doesn't really feel like we've started our second year, so that's kind of like a bit of a dilemma that we're all facing at the moment. But I suppose we should be thankful, because it might not always be that way, and we know that next term it's probably going to be a lot more work. And I'm a little bit more clearer today as well about what I need to do as part of my assignments, so like writing the care plans. I've had experience of writing care plans in practice, but I've always needed maybe just like tweaking by my mentor, because I've not necessarily put it in the right words. And often I find with care plans that I know what I want to say, but I just don't know how to say it. I have no problem with the formatting, like creating my own sort of care plan and how it's all laid out. It's just kind of like the content, especially when it comes down to the chronological order of the plan of care that you're going to put into place. I find that quite hard, because you have to kind of break it into such small pieces, so you know, anybody can read it and every little step, and sometimes I kind of miss out steps. And yeah, so but today has definitely cleared that up a little bit, and yeah, I'm enjoying second year so far, although I haven't kind of felt like I've been at uni that much. But as I said, I'm sure that will change in the very near future. And yeah, I'll catch you later.